So, thanks to us. We really appreciate you joining us, and we really appreciate you talking to Philly Chris last night. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this all started?
Well, basically, this all got started when Mr. Patel's gas station got robbed. They came in here with a van and stole 2 Mac machines full of money, and it got worse. He then confronted the drug dealers that were trying to take over his gas station, and that's when he said enough is enough. He couldn't get any help from the police department, and so I offered my services and told him what I could do. And we're at this point right now. He's happy. Uh, as you can see, this is the gas station. There's no drug dealers or anybody hanging out.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good down there, and it was nice and peaceful last night.
Yeah.
Oh, we might have lost Mike there for a second, but I'll
So
step
far,
in.
nobody's tried to
yeah.
rob the place with.
Yeah.
How did you get?
Nobody's trying to rob anything around here, apparently.
Much safer these days, right?
Oh, it's a lot safer, and and the people love us now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just, my phone is constantly being blown up, and I'm getting calls not only from here in Philadelphia, Kentucky, believe this or not, Hawaii.
Really?
Yes, Hawaii.
Wow.
People like, yo, keep up the good work. You know, this is awesome. Yo, I've never seen so much support. I'm just blown away.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to, talk to me last night and fill me in a little bit on the situation, and also speak to the manager, Mr. Patel, and I was really impressed with how many customers were interacting with you and thanking you guys, and really appreciate you being there, because you are creating a safe environment. It's just, I love Philadelphia. I go by Philly Chris on the show, and I'm just torn apart, to see our great city of brotherly love and all the history and background that Philadelphia brings to the United States, to see what's happening in our inner cities, and tell us a little bit more about how you got started in like law enforcement and your background a little bit, if you don't mind.
Well, my background, I started out in the Department of Corrections, and went from the Department of Corrections to the police department, and did 21 years as a law enforcement officer in the Philadelphia Police Department. And in the private sector, I wanted to help people, have purpose and have meaning in what I do, not just to get up in the morning and say, hey, I got a job.
Right. No, I could see how seriously you take it.
A lot of people have made this. A lot of people have made this an issue where they talk about whether the police's hands are tied by the government and by bureaucrats, and that's why they can't help people. There are a lot of whole different problems that they're throwing out there, but I think the bottom line is that guys like you being out there and being able to protect people when it is out of control is a good thing, and everybody should agree with it, don't you think?
Oh, I agree. It is a good thing. I mean, actually, the police departments should love us, because the simple fact that it's you have another tool in your pocket. That's how the police department should look at it, because we can handle this stuff while you're over there handling other stuff, and that's how the police department should look at it. They say, hey, we don't have to come over here and babysit this parking lot, or this gas station because of the issues that's going on. They got guys over here who's doing it now. That will give the police department more manpower to do bigger and better things, like deal with the homicides that are in Philadelphia, which is 469 now, and well over 8,000 shootings. But
why do you think that we've had such a bad violent crime problem? Why do you think we've had such a bad violent crime problem in Philadelphia lately?
Well, a lot of people are going to get mad at me, but my dad said, always speak the truth, son, whether people love you or not.
Yeah.
Good advice.
I'm just going to say, impeach DA Larry Krasner. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be straightforward. And Larry, it's nothing bad, but you had 4 years, you did nothing. DA Krasner, you did nothing. Crime went up instead of down. Your door says prosecutor, not social worker. That's what a prosecutor does. He prosecutes. Okay? Now, it's not just him. I put a lot of the blame on Commissioner Outlaw. She's the new commissioner. She should have came in here, clean house. She should have cleaned her department, because there's people in her department that, from the head on down, that should not have been in the police department. She should have came here, cleaned house, and then talk to the community people. And not only the community people, but talk to the foot patrol officers. See, that's the thing people don't understand. You talk to your lieutenants, you talk to your sergeants, you talk to your captains, but they are not the ones in the trenches. You want to find out how to fight crime? The commissioner should be talking to the police officers. They're the foot soldiers. They're the ones out there battling the crime every day. But you got your higher ups, who some of them, I'm gonna tell you right now, the most they've ever been on the street throughout their whole career, maybe a month, if that. Some of them have never made an arrest. They had a pair of handcuffs that they have never used throughout their whole career.
That's crazy.
That's true. That's true. That's nothing made up.
How does that even happen?
The
How do they?
that,
yeah. I'm sorry, Mike.
This city,
you're assessing somebody's performance, some result. You'd be criticize somebody if crime is rise and you're not seeing it getting any better. And like you said, it's nothing personal against the people, but the bottom line is you have a job to do and you have not done that job. We have not seen the results. Right. Is that correct?
That's right. And let's not forget the mayor. Oh my God. Let's not forget, you had this job for 8 years. 8 years. And you did nothing.
Right.
And this is what makes me mad with the mayor. He had the nerve to say, oh my God, I can't wait until I leave office to become a regular person. Yo, buddy, if you're not up for the task, then step down and let somebody like me do the job.
Right.
So how dare you say during a shooting, oh, this is horrific. This city, I can't wait to be a regular person. Then why did you take the office?
Mm-hmm. It's a good point. Yeah. I mean, that really sums up.
Somebody who's got their heart and soul into that.
And I want to say this, and I know I'm going to get chewed out for it, but, you know, like my daddy say the truth. Every city council member that resigned to run for mayor, citizens of Philadelphia, if you vote for them, you are stupid and you do not care about life, liberty, and justice for your city. They too had 8 years to clean this mess up.
Right.
Do you think by making them mayor, they're going to clean it up? No. Let's use this. Put someone in office who cares about the citizens and is going to do something about the crime day one. Not talk about it, not throw out some kumbaya stories, but actually take action.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, how does it even go on this way?
Yeah, why do you think the people of Philadelphia keep voting this way, though? When they see these poor results, why do you think the people of Philadelphia keep voting this way?
Because there's money being thrown at them. There's money being thrown at them. Philadelphia gets $60 million in program money for violent crimes. You know that money is being used. It's being thrown away frivolously. Give it to my program where we could put more people on the street, where we could put more people at businesses that will protect these businesses and free police officers up to really handle more crime in the street, stop the crime in the street. But instead, you want to give $50,000 to a t-shirt, to a program, kids making t-shirts, kids playing soccer. Oh, here's one. City of Philadelphia found surplus money, $2 million. Half that $2 million, they said, oh, we're going to put a swimming pool in for the kids for the summer. How does that stop gun violence and crime? It doesn't. That should be our number one issue. All our money for every program, it should be targeted to crime. It should be targeted to, hey, I already know how to clean up Kensington Ave. We got the facilities to do it. On the outskirts of the city of Philadelphia, we can build us a facility, a 2-year holding facility. And see, because a drug addict will not 302 themselves or go into a facility and stay in a facility. But back in the day, when the officer stopped that drug addict and he had a crack pipe, that officer locked that individual up for that crack pipe. That individual did 2 years in jail, and guess what? That individual was off of drugs. But when you allow them to self-treat themselves, it's not going to happen. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse. But if you put them you force them in a 2-year facility, they will get clean. And you won't have them walking all over the city or clouding up and sleeping on the streets. That is what has to be. You have to come up with an idea to say, okay, we have to force these people to be in a treatment program.
Do you think that these drug addicts, the drugs are such a problem?
Oh, the drug.
Do you think the drugs are such a problem? And if they need drug money and they obviously don't have stable jobs, if they're drug addicts, do they tend to commit violent crimes to try to get a hold of that money and rob other people?
Yes, they do. But here's the thing about it here in Philadelphia. They're allowed to go in these stores. They'll go into Wawa, jump over the counter, grab stuff, walk out, and the security that's there, we're not security, by the way, but their security will say, hey, okay, I'm going to call police on you. And they'll come back the next day and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no accountability.
So let me ask you this. You said you're not security. I think that's an interesting point. How would you describe yourself if not security? Educate us.
We are protectors. We're paid to protect liberty, life, and property. That's what we do. We're protectors. We're not security. We do security details, but we protect life, liberty, and property. So someone comes on this property, wants to steal, vandalize, we lock them up. We have that power and authority. Rather than,
what do you think these criminals who have been doing this kind of stuff think when they see a guy like you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Loud car in the background there, yeah.
Yeah, that car.
What do you think these? What do you think these criminals who have been doing these bad things think in their mind when they see guys like you standing out there? How do you think that impacts them?
Oh, they're not crazy. They're not going to try this gas station. Seriously, they're not. Mm-hmm. They're not. But if they do, I can promise you and assure you, I'm going to follow the law. And the law says that I can protect this property, whatever force necessary. And I'm going to do that because people need to know that they are safe and will not become a victim.
Yep, that's good.
It's about time that people stood up for themselves because people have become there. That's basically what a lot of the common society has become, are victims, because the violent crime is out of control. It's interesting that you seem like you very much care about freedom and people's rights and defending people. And in doing that, a lot of times we see these city council members, the mayor, and the DA even want to restrict the rights of law-abiding citizens and keep them from being able to get their hands on firearms to protect themselves. What do you think about that?
The city council members, they've lost their minds here in Philadelphia. Here's a perfect case in point. They passed a bill telling Philadelphia Police Department that certain traffic stops could no longer be done by them. So if a police officer saw a person with a bad registration sticker, city council says, oh no, we passed the bill. You can't stop them for that. You know?
And why are they doing that? What is their reasoning?
Once again, catering to the criminals.
Right. There seems like there's a lot of that going on.
If we do this, then they'll listen, then they'll listen to us over here because we did that for them. No, that's not how it works. It's just like when we have a major gun shooting, a lot of the top legislators want to say, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to ban that rifle that guy used. That rifle is not the issue. And I'm going to say it just like this. That rifle is not the issue, moron. I can lay that gun down here on the street right now, and guess what? That gun will not shoot, will not fire.
Right.
It is the person. And when legislators start thinking, and congressmen and judges start thinking, hey, it's not the gun. We're making these gun laws backwards. We need to go after the people. Hey, you got caught with the gun, lock you up. Throw away the K. You shouldn't have had that gun.
Right.
Not, okay, we're going to make more gun laws and restrict more citizens from protecting themselves from the criminal. That's why the criminals can run around the city doing what they're doing. They're walking around with the 9s and the ARs and the guns bigger than mine, laughing, hey, I like that new gun law you passed. It ain't hurting me none because I'm still going to carry mine. Meanwhile, so Miss Brown.
Uh-oh. He's on fire there, damn it.
Meanwhile, Miss Brown and Miss Pittman sitting in their house. Oh, how am I going to defend myself when I can't get a license to carry? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There shouldn't even be a permit to carry in the city of Philadelphia. Everybody should be able to carry a gun. If you're sound-minded, you pass a psychological, because you don't want no nuts with the guns. And it's because you have a right to defend yourself. That what was the Constitution. That was the Constitution. I mean,
right.
Think about it. Back in the days when the Cowboys and Indians, they didn't have this much homicide. I mean, this is crazy. And everybody could carry a gun. Everybody.
Right. Yeah, they kind of handled things on their own. You're right. Yeah, and we're heading back that way, but been in a bad way, I think. Yeah, you know.
Here's the problem, though, Andre. Here's the problem with the psychological part is if you let the government do that, you know who's in charge of the government right now. They look at guys like you and I like we're nuts, like we've got psychological problems, right?
Yeah.
It's you guys like guns. You're a bunch of gun nuts, so you don't make it. You're not qualified, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what they would say. That was exactly what they said. But they wouldn't look at the statistics and say, you know what? There hasn't been any robberies since he's been there in a month. There hasn't been any police radio calls to that spot or on that block.
Speaking of that, I noticed when I was there with you last night, I don't know if you want to get into this or not. I'm putting you on the spot, Andre, but the Philadelphia police stopped by last night. Were they just kind of stopping by to say hello or make sure everything was good? Or I don't know if you want to get into that or not. But
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
You know, like my dad say, speak the truth, you never have a problem.
Right.
Well, the Philadelphia Police Department, since I've been on television, national news about what we're doing here, they now wanted to try to attempt to arrest me, saying that I am a felon and I shouldn't be walking around with a shotgun or AR. And I said,
wow.
where are you guys getting that stuff from? He wouldn't say. And then he went further to say, he wanted to ask me, well, he did ask me. He said, do you mind showing me your Act 235 license to carry? And I told him, I said, have I committed a crime? No. Am I suspected of committing a crime? No. Do you think I'm going to commit a crime? No. I said, well, and I don't think I'm going to show you that. You are on private property.
Cause, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody knows the law.
and he knew he was wrong. And then I told him, I said, did you have MPO training this year? He said, yeah. I said, you know, you can't even ask me that. You know, in Philadelphia, people can walk down the street with long guns and the police can't stop them. A lot of people didn't know that.
Sure. Yeah.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Yeah,
And
well,
I told the
the Hicks
sergeant, I said,
case, we
listen,
had arguments about this. Yeah.
I said, Sergeant, this isn't against you. I know you were sent here, but you
Hmm.
go back and you tell that idiot, that moron that sent you here. I said no.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I was close enough by I could hear of it. As I told you last night, I was trying to stay out of your business, but I appreciate you sharing
No,
that. I
that's
didn't want to share it without you doing it yourself.
well.
But yeah, it was really interesting to see them. And here's what fascinates me about that. When I was talking to Mr. Patel the day that the ATM machine was stolen from inside of his business, and
Hmm.
according to him, you correct me if I'm wrong at all, but he said they basically came in and announced, "Hey, we're going to rob you. Why don't you call the police?" And then
Yeah,
they had a hand truck and literally loaded up the ATM and took off. And then I think the police took about 4 hours to respond. Right? Am I summarizing that correctly? Yet
correct.
they had time
And
yesterday to come by and kind of give you a hard time, which I think is
took
pretty.
their time. The
Yeah.
bad guys
Right.
took their time. They didn't rush. Look at the video. They didn't rush.
Right.
They took their time.
Yeah.
They
Well,
took
they
their time.
know
They
that.
weren't worried.
And not again, nothing against the individual police officers,
No,
just to make it clear, like, and I know
let me
you
tell you
said that
something.
too. You were a police officer.
I
These
know
guys
many
are,
Philadelphia
you know,
police
yeah.
officers that do the job and do the job well,
Hmm.
but it's not them.
Right. Yeah. Their
It's
hands are
their
being
police
tied. Yeah.
commissioner.
Right.
It's their police commissioner. She's the one that's missing in action. She's the one that has to set the tone. The mayor, he's the one that has to set the tone. The district attorney's office, they're the one that has to set the tone. The
Hmm.
cops, they're just a tool. They do as told. Now, here's the thing we got. We got curfew violation, a curfew here in Philadelphia. But guess what? That's a joke in itself because no cop is going to, you can look at the records, no cop is doing a curfew violation because it doesn't make any sense to do it. There's no accountability. You're just doing a bunch of paperwork for no reason. For no reason. Drop the kid off home, and then as soon as you drop the kid off, the kid is back out in the street an
Right.
hour later.
Hmm.
Mom and dad are not being held accountable. City council hasn't passed the bill. City council want to do something, pass the bill. Say, hey, mom and dad, there's going to be a $250,000 fine if your kid is caught outside after 10 o'clock curfew. And you're going to have to pay it installment payments to the city of Philadelphia. You want to see curfew enforced? That'll do it.
Right. Right.
Mom will know, and dad will know where Johnny is.
Yeah,
You
that's
keep
interesting.
referencing your dad very well and taught you good things. Do you think that there's been a breakdown in the family in this over the last several decades?
You can't put that on that. You know what? When I was a correction officer, I saw a lot of different types of people in the prison system. I saw people who had no mother and a father, no mother and father, and they turned out, they made a mistake and then they turned out to be really good. I know one guy, he went to prison, uh, he robbed somebody, he did his time, he owns his own business now, and he teaches his kids the right way now. So there are people out here who learn from their mistakes, but not everybody learns from mistakes. And that's the thing that a lot of politicians have to understand. You can't kumbaya save everybody. Prisons were built for a purpose. You can't save everybody.
Hmm.
And everybody is not going to change. 85% of drug dealers who are drug dealers, they do it for the thrill. I've heard them say it. I know they do it for the thrill. They don't do it, well, you could get a job over here making $25 an hour. They don't care about that.
Hmm.
They're never going to quit being a drug dealer.
That's
They
interesting. It's
love
kind of its
they
own
love the thrill.
addiction, the adrenaline. Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
interesting
that's
point.
it.
Yeah, right. Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah.
Have you gotten calls from other places looking for you guys to protect them? Because I'm sure there's no shortage of places who could
We
use
got a
this
place
kind of
to.
stuff right now. It's not just that one gas station.
No, we got begged. This guy begged me. He said, just come by, just for a little bit, just for 2 hours, just for 2 hours, please. 33rd and Cecil B. Moore, the Sunoco gas station right there. We were there for 4 hours, and oh my God, yo, the drug dealers, it was like partying the Red Sea. This guy, the juvenile that should have been in school, we kicked him out of we kicked him out, told him to go home, don't want to come back here. We now own this spot.
That's fascinating.
And it was fascinating to see the people. The people are blowing their horns. Yo, that touches my heart. Yo, people are waving. Yeah, take it back. Take back Philly. That's what they're saying.
Right.
Take back Philly, Chief.
That's
And
good.
that's awesome. That
That's
is
good.
awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Even CJ is such a nice guy, one of the guys working for you. And there was that woman who was having trouble with her battery. I put it in the video, and he went over and helped her. So, not only are you guys down there protecting people, but you're just being good local citizens in the community yourselves. And I think that's great. If we could all just come together. I mean, I'm fed up personally. I've talked about it a lot on the show of the divisiveness, the division, and the black and white and red and blue and this and that. It's like, come on already. Like we've talked about on the show, we're flying around on the same blue ball in outer space. Like there's really nowhere else to go. Can't we just get along? You said that on the show one time, Mike. It's like, come on already. And to me personally, I feel like a lot of the stuff's being done on purpose. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, Andre, but like you've been doing this a long time. You were a career officer and now you're doing it privately. And I mean, how do these decisions keep being made without they must know that, this is taking us in the wrong direction and the whole country just seems to be going south right now. I mean, it seems like it's by design,
It is. It's funny you should say that, but it is. It's like the Matrix. Which pill are you going to take, the blue or the red?
Right. I mean, there's some truth in that, I think.
Yeah.
Seems like it, right? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on now has been designed purposely to confuse the American people, to confuse citizens, to be against each other, uprise and everything, instead of realizing, hey, we are all one.
Right.
All one. I remember when America was America. Baseball, hot dog, and apple pie.
Right.
We didn't care about all this crap. We loved one another, and we would have put our hands up when we heard the song of the national anthem. We were proud to hear that.
Right. That's right.
We understood what the 4th of July was. It wasn't just a day to eat barbecue. We understood what it was.
It's so true.
Now America is lost.
Yeah.
It is lost. But it's due to the citizens. Hold on.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, there were a lot of sirens when I was down there last night.
It's due to the citizens electing the wrong people into office. The people that they're electing into office do not have the citizens' well-being. It's not there. They don't care about them. That's not why they wanted to be in office. You need someone in office that's going to care for the citizens and care for the city.
Well, think about this. Before you guys showed up over there, would you be comfortable having a loved one, like your mother or your aunt or your niece, walk around in that area before you guys showed up over there? Would you feel comfortable with that?
No, I wouldn't. And actually, you saying this, my mom got hit by a car, a drunk driver, right here on the corner, and had to be and had to go to the hospital.
Oh wow!
And thank God she was okay. It was just a sprain, but and it was. And this is the part I like. The guy didn't get locked up. You know why? Because he wasn't drunk. He was high on marijuana. And Larry Krasner has already said, anybody in the city of Philadelphia, if you're high on marijuana and driving, he's not going to prosecute you. That's what he said. And he said it publicly. That's came from your DA prosecutor.
Wow.
He is not going to
that's
prosecute anybody that's high on marijuana.
Have you ever considered running for office?
It's funny you say that. 3 people today said, if you run, we'll vote for you. That would be awesome.
Well, we have comments over here saying they want you to run for president.
No, that's too big of a shoes.
Andrew Boyer for president. Look, this is the comments over here.
Yeah, we got some good comments. Also, Definland was like, when do these guys sleep? And I don't know. They seem to have a lot of energy. You guys were on top of everything and on your game yesterday. Yeah. Probably don't sleep, especially right now.
Yeah.
They're out there so we can sleep.
Eventually, I really hope that the general managers of Wawa hear this, see this, and will allow us to be there at their stores.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be a major turning point in the city of Philadelphia if that happened.
I love Wawa, and several of them down in Center City closed recently. Some locations that I would frequent, and they're
it was
gone. Yeah,
two closed, and they made it publicly known why.
mm-hmm. They
They
did.
said
Yeah,
because of the crime.
I respect that.
The
Yeah,
police could not. The police could not do anything about it, and they just shut it. They shut it down, and not only did they shut after they shut the two stores, then they said, okay, Wawa used to be 24 hours. Now they close at 11.
right.
So, you know, if you want to go get a sandwich at 12 o'clock, that's not going to happen. You want to get a cup of coffee, that's not going to happen. Not
Yeah.
after 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah. No, I lived down in Center City for a while, and it's a totally different place now.
And,
yeah.
And it's sad that we as the citizens of the city have to be punished for what the criminals do instead of the other way around.
Right.
Like I said, there's no accountability for those guys. For us, we get punished for everything.
Mm-hmm.
We do what we pay our taxes, we do what we're supposed to do, but we still get punished. These guys, you got the keys to the city, do what you want. I've never seen it this bad where a cop would sit in the street and let a criminal do donuts around his police car. That was so embarrassing. My heart dropped when I saw that. And it happened in Center City. The cop car's sitting there, and this guy stopped floor traffic both ways to do huge donuts around the police car.
Wow. When was that?
Well, cops love donuts.
That was about 3 months ago.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. I guess Russ, you're right. Yeah, they like donuts.
Cop isn't going to pass up a good donut, right?
The old joke about cops and donuts.
You can't make this stuff up, folks.
Right.
And the good cops, they're afraid to work because they're afraid to get jammed up for doing the job.
Yeah.
That is one thing, is that, police are certainly under a microscope today. It's certainly not a job that I want to do. And there have been police who have done bad things. There's no two ways about that. But there's definitely some severe public scrutiny. And sometimes they get criticized for things unfairly, don't you think?
Yeah. But you got to blame that on the departments, because the departments knew the departments know who the bad apples are.
Right.
But they chose not to clean house. If you had a clean house in the beginning, you wouldn't have had all this problem going on now.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad when you got the bad guys in your own internal affairs. So, is there anything getting done when you got bad cops in internal affairs doing investigations on bad cops? That's funny.
It's almost like the gun
the
ownership thing. And that because one person does something bad and everybody else gets punished. It's the same thing with when they make these gun laws. It's some crazy person or some evil person goes out there and does something bad, so they want to punish people like you and me, and it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And I don't see how these guys who pass these laws don't get it. The light bulb doesn't come on. Like I say once again, I can take my shotgun, lay it right here on this ground, and it won't bother nobody. It won't go off at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep. Never seen that happen. Never seen that one go on.
I just don't get why they won't grasp the idea. Stop passing laws to hurt the citizens, pass laws to help the citizens, and pass laws to put the criminals behind bars.
Right.
How many folks do you have on your team at this point?
Right now we have 24.
Wow.
I'm hoping by the end of January to get 50 more. Trying to get funding now from the bank, and if I get that funding, I'll be okay.
That would be great.
I'll be able to help a lot more people.
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be
great.
How do people hire you if they're interested in reaching out to you? How do they find you?
They already know. Go right to my webpage, Pennsylvania Sites Agents, and people have called me from all over. They have called me from all over.
Yeah, you were getting calls
Texas,
when I was with you last
Washington.
night. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really awesome.
And you're doing
You
good
know
stuff.
what though? You're getting rewarded for doing something good and doing something brave, and that I'm sure not a lot of people do that. I'm sure there are plenty of security agencies out there who would go out there and turn that kind of a job down, right?
Well, they wouldn't turn it down, but they wouldn't give it the justice that it needs. They would just put somebody there who's just going to stand there and allow somebody to walk in and steal their stuff and walk out and say, we're only allowed to call 911. We're not allowed to stop them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have never heard that in all my life, but this is what security companies do here in Philadelphia. They're told
Aren't you
just
just?
to call,
Wouldn't
call
that be?
911.
Wouldn't you be, if you put yourself in that kind of a position? Wouldn't you just be asking to get hurt or killed though?
Well, the soldiers of the United States, they put their lives on the line every day for us. Why? Because they believe in this great country. So I believe in my great city.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not worried about you. I think that you can
I'm
handle
talking
yourself.
about my guys too. My guys have the same. My guys feel the same way I do, and I can speak for those other people who are like me. Why they do this? It's the passion and the love to want to be there for the people and want to see this great city strive to be what it is.
Right.
This is supposed to be the city of brotherly love. It's become the city of brotherly death and chaos.
Mm. Mm.
Don't you think that in reality, the folks who take the approach like you were just saying, though, the ones who say, oh, pretty please don't hurt me, I'm just going to call the police and, we're not going to do anything about it, aren't they in a more dangerous position than guys like you who are out there and, are willing to protect yourselves?
There have been more security guards killed, shot, cut, stabbed who don't have what we have and become victims because they don't have what we have. If more security companies did arm their people, you would see a different in crime immediately. And I mean immediately. You would see it immediately.
Yeah.
The bad guys know who to test and who not to test.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Philly, Chris, I don't want to cut you off. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, no, I was just taking it all in, and I'm so thankful that you came on, and thanks for talking to me last night, and it was my honor to meet you, and somebody who's out in the community doing the things you're doing, and your guys, Mike and I are around a lot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said thank you guys for having me.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you'll have to come back on sometime. Yeah.
Hey, we need to two things. Number
Yeah.
one, we need to have you come out to a gun law seminar one of these times when I teach one. We would love to have you there. I'll put you on my guest list.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would love to.
I will send.
We'll make it a date. I would love to.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
I will
smoke
send
cigars?
Hey, and how about this? 6 months from now, let's do an update and see how everything is right here.
100%. And
Yeah.
let me tell you one more thing. If those police are bothering you again, you need to lawyer up and shut up and call me right away, okay?
You got it. I will. No, I will.
Hey, you feel free. I mean it, all right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Andre.
Thanks,
Keep up the
Andre.
good work.
Guys.
Peace.
God bless.
God bless. Yeah.
Take care.
Stay safe.